The searing pain in my throat and the chill of a blade, that was my last memory. When I opened my eyes, there were no zombies, no ruins of Shanghai. I was standing in my luxury apartment in the Pudong district, overlooking the Oriental Pearl Tower. January 27th, 2026. I have been reborn. In my past life, I was Elena, a fool who believed in the sisterhood of my cousin Jessica. She pushed me into a horde of zombies at the metro station just to steal my last backpack of food. But this time, fate has given me a second chance. I checked my assets, $5 million from my parents' accident insurance. In this game of survival, I will be the one who prevails. Jessica owned a large supermarket in Hangzhou, right near the West Lake, but she was drowning in debt due to her profligate lifestyle. I met her at a high-end restaurant on Nanjing Road. "Jessica, I want to buy your supermarket in Hangzhou. I just want to live a quiet life." Jessica smirked inwardly. She thought I was a sacrificial lamb coming to take over her debts. She demanded $3,500,000. I pretended to bargain and then agreed. The moment the pen hit the paper, she laughed triumphantly. "Elena, you truly are the biggest fool in all of Shanghai." I laughed too, but for her fate. She had just sold the only fortress that could save her during the coming cataclysm. I had only 20 days before Patient Zero appeared. I immediately flew to Hangzhou and hired a security task force from Shenzhen. I spent $1 million to reinforce the supermarket. All glass was replaced with 4-layer bulletproof tempered glass. Behind that, a system of 8-centimeter thick alloy steel shutters. I installed a rooftop solar power system and 5 industrial generators in the basement. My water filtration system can turn lake water into pure drinking water. The supermarket is no longer a place for shopping. It is a literal military bunker in the heart of this tourist city. Money was now just soulless numbers. I began clearing out food warehouses across Jiang province. Every day, dozens of shipping containers arrived. 50 tons of rice, 20 tons of flour, and tens of thousands of canned lamb and beef. I bought an entire warehouse of antibiotics and medical supplies. I even imported thousands of chemical hazmat suits from Guangzhou. The locals looked at me like I was insane. They mocked me as I welded barbed wire onto the perimeter walls. "This Shanghai girl has lost her mind," they said. Little did they know, in just 10 days, a single loaf of bread would be worth more than a bar of gold. Day 15. The air in Hangzhou became strange. I stood on the supermarket rooftop, looking toward West Lake. Dense fog and rumors of a strange flu began to spread on Weibo. I spent this time training myself. I learned to use crossbows, tactical knives, and surveillance equipment. I installed a 360-degree thermal sensor camera system around the mart. Every corner within 1 kilometer radius was under my control. I received a message from Jessica. She was bragging about the new Ferrari she bought with my money. I simply smiled. Day 20. The silence of Hangzhou was shattered by continuous sirens from the direction of the East Railway Station. On the satellite TV, news from Shanghai broadcasted the final images before the signal went dead. At the Bund, the lavish neon lights flickered out, replaced by the fiery glow of exploding vehicles. I stood in the control room, gripping my glass of red wine. Through the infrared cameras, I saw the darkness swallowing the streets. Staggering figures appeared, their speed insane. The cataclysm arrived sooner than I thought. I took a deep breath and pressed the red button on the console. "Defenses activated. Welcome to my fortress," I whispered. Suddenly, my phone vibrated violently. It was Jessica. Jessica is panicked and screams in the background. "Elena, have you seen the news? People are eating each other at the station. I'm in the parking lot and something is smashing my car window. Save me, Elena." Elena calmly replies, "Oh, Jessica, aren't you busy celebrating your new Ferrari? Why call your naive cousin now?" Jessica angrily says, "Stop joking. I'm losing my mind. I'm driving to your place right now. Open the supermarket. I know you have tons of food there. Elena smiles and replies, you can try, but remember, the road from Shanghai to Hangzhou isn't a highway anymore. It's a highway to hell. A week after the world collapsed, Hangzhou was now a massive graveyard filled with undead wandering through the fog of Westlake. My mart remained lit by solar power, shining like a diamond amidst the ashes. Suddenly, violent banging erupted from the back steel door. Through the cameras, I saw Jessica. She was no longer the elegant socialite from Shanghai. Her clothes were shredded, her hair matted, and beside her was her boyfriend, Brian, the man who helped her push me to my death in my past life. Jessica is screaming, Elena, I know you're watching. Open this door right now. I'm your cousin. You can't let us starve out here. Brian, who is Jessica's boyfriend, is furious and kicking the steel door. You bitch, we know you're hiding tons of meat and clean water in there. Open up or I'll blow this place sky high. Elena replies via PA system. Blow it up? With what, Brian? Jessica's Ferrari keys? Or those designer handbags you bought with my money? Jessica is sobbing. Elena, I'm sorry. I'll give the money back. Everything. I just need a piece of bread, please. Money? In this era, your money is only good for toilet paper. Do you remember, Jessica, in my past life, you were the one who pushed me onto the tracks as the zombies swarmed. You said I was a sacrifice for your survival. Jessica is stunned and asks, past life? What the hell are you talking about? Elena calmly replies, you don't need to understand. You just need to know that this mart is where I bought my life. You used your money to buy vanity. Look behind you, Jessica. Your customers have arrived. The mart's floodlights swept across the street, revealing dozens of undead rushing toward them, drawn by Brian's noise. Jessica turned back in horror, her eyes bulging. I calmly pressed the button to activate the high-voltage fence around the back entrance. Zap! Zap! The sound of electricity mixing with their heart-wrenching screams was the most beautiful music I had ever heard. The third month of the apocalypse. Hangzhou, once called paradise on Earth, was now a labyrinth of death. Snow began to fall over West Lake, blanketing the rusted car wrecks and ruins. But inside Elena's sanctuary, the new name I gave this mart, spring never seemed to end. I stood on the rooftop, looking at the vibrant green rows of my hydroponic system. Juicy tomatoes and lush lettuce thrived under the specialized purple LED lights. In the basement, the generators hummed quietly, maintaining a perfect 24 degrees Celsius throughout the building. I wasn't just surviving, I was living like a god in a world that the gods had abandoned. This morning, I treated myself to a lavish breakfast, a Wagyu steak from the deep freezer, served with fresh eggs from the hens I kept in the isolated rooftop coop. While sipping hot Blue Mountain coffee, I turned on the surveillance monitors. A group of strangers, survivors armed with primitive weapons, were kneeling before the main gates. They had seen the smoke from my chimney and smelled the food. They weren't banging on the doors like Brian or Jessica. They were begging for mercy. Look at them, the same kind of people who mocked me for my insane hoarding. Now, a single tin of my meat can buy their loyalty, even their lives. I won't open the gates, at least not yet. I need eyes and ears on the outside, people who will work for me in exchange for scraps. I don't need friends, I need an army. In my past life, I died because I was too kind. In this life, I will use coldness to build a new order. I picked up the radio, adjusting the frequency so my voice echoed through the external speakers, as cold as the Hangzhou winter frost. Listen up, you miserable souls outside. I am Elena, the master of this fortress. If you want to live, bring me information on untapped fuel depots or medical containers at the port. Whoever brings me what I need shall eat. Welcome to my empire. I smiled, looking through my binoculars toward the distant horizon where the military was still struggling in Zane. This game is just beginning, and this time I'm the one holding all the aces.